So there was an interesting article that was published today by the Japan Times talking about the current predicament of the Japanese military industry. The article talks about how several Japanese companies have backed off from developing military technology for the Japanese defense forces because really it's not that profitable for them, and it's really not worth it for them to go through the effort of developing these military technologies because Japan can easily purchase military technology from the United States. And so instead of going through all of the major spending and the effort to produce military technology, Japan can simply just procure such technologies from the Americans. But the Japanese government, of course, wants to change this. The Japanese do not want to solely depend on the world's biggest superpower to defend itself. Japan does not want to depend on other countries for its weaponry. Japan wants to develop its own military industry. And I just want to read to you guys an excerpt here. It talks about how these companies have rescinded deals to make these weapons. And it says here, last year, Mitsui E&S Shipbuilding decided to pull out from naval shipbuilding, selling the division to MHI, while Sumitomo Heavy Industries withdrew from the selection process for the next series of machine guns for the Ground Self-Defense Force. 2 years earlier, Komatsu, once the seventh largest supplier to the defense ministry, announced it would gradually stop developing its armored vehicle business, while Daicel, a major chemical company and supplier of devices for warplane ejection seats, pulled out of the defense business in 2020. And the reason for this, as the article explains, and I'll put a link to the article in the description below, is that these companies don't really see it as worth their effort because Japan can simply get such technologies from the United States, and these companies don't really see it as that profitable to go through such endeavors. But the Japanese self-defense forces want to change this. They want to make more incentives for these companies to build military technologies, and they want to change their policy. The Japanese government wants to change its policies to bolster up its domestic defense industry. And this is really a reflection of what we are transitioning into, the next zeitgeist, which is multi poles of power. We've talked about the unipolar world of the United States, how America is the police state of the earth. But this is changing. Even the CIA last year talked about how really the global trend is shifting from a unipolar world in which America basically runs everything or is the biggest superpower in the world to a world that is divided and ruled under multiple regional superpowers. So, for example, Turkey would be the regional superpower over the Near East. Russia would be the regional superpower in Eastern Europe. Japan would be the regional superpower in Northeast Asia. So this is the world that we are transitioning towards, and you are seeing the integral steps, the incremental steps towards this zeitgeist, towards this trend. Turkey, for years, has been talking about creating its own domestic military defense industry. Turkey, much like Japan, has been quite dependent on other countries like the United States and Great Britain for its military technology. But Turkey is also pursuing technological independence, especially when it comes to defense. Same thing with Japan. People can sit here and laugh at me for saying these things, or they can laugh at the idea of Japan becoming a regional superpower. But think about it this way, just to give you an idea, maybe to widen your perspective. After World War I, right after World War I, what was Germany? Germany was a war-torn utterly devastated country. It had no economy. Its money was worthless. Its currency had no value. And it was completely at the mercy of Allied forces. You had French soldiers occupying a huge chunk of Germany, and Germany was utterly ruined. It was destroyed. But Germany became one of the most feared superpowers not too long after this. It didn't take that long for Germany to recover. And what helped Germany? It was America's military industry. It was American innovation and giving the information about that innovation, the knowledge of that innovation to the Germans, because the Americans and the British saw the Germans as a perfect proxy to counter communism, to counter the Soviets. And I think they had the same perspective in regards to Japan. They saw Japan as a proxy against the Chinese. And so they allowed Germany to reindustrialize itself and to remilitarize itself. And they helped Germany to do this. And this article from the Japan Times has an interesting statement near the end. It talks about how the Japanese are and continue to gain knowledge about selling its own technology to other countries, and also developing and bolstering its own military industry. So the article says, quote, Tokyo is also joining international development projects with like-minded partners that will help it save costs and development time, while allowing Japanese industries to gain access to advanced technologies and the know-how to sell equipment to foreign markets, experiences that are critical for Japan to enhance its defense industrial base. One of the most significant means by which Germany fueled its military machine was synthetic oil. And how did the Germans learn about synthetic oil? They learned it from the American Rockefeller Company, Standard Oil. Because Germany didn't have any oil, they had to get oil from other countries, especially from Romania. But Germany also fueled its military machine using synthetic oil, which it learned to extract from its abundant coal. But it learned how to do this thanks to knowledge coming from the Standard Oil Company, which was founded by Rockefeller. So just as the Americans gave the Germans the knowledge to bolster up its military independence, the Americans are also helping the Japanese do this very endeavor. And so as the years go by, we are going to be seeing the rise of Japanese power in Northeast Asia. And the Americans are going to they're going to be in bliss over this, because they're going to see Japan as a weapon to use against the Chinese. Anyway, you guys just heard some theology. God bless.